Welcome back to Dragon Army. My name is Dustin, and this is the second video in a 3-video series detailing some of the books that I'm excited about that are coming out in 2021. The first video, if you haven't watched yet, click on the link in the annotation, is about the fantasy books that are being released this year. This video is all about the science fiction books that are being released this year, and then the third and final video in the series will be about the young adult books that are probably a mixture of both fantasy and sci-fi that are scheduled to be released this year. Some of these books are standalone novels, some of them are the beginning of series, some of them are at the end of a series or somewhere in the middle of a series, but I'll make sure to notate all of that as we go along. The first book is A History of What Comes Next by Sylvain Neuvel, set to be released on February 2nd. The reason why this caught my attention is not necessarily because of the premise, but because of the author. I am a huge fan of the Themis Files. It's another series that this author has done that is kind of about first contact. It's about a girl finding a huge robotic structure buried underground here on Earth, left there by some kind of previous, more advanced civilization. Really, really cool story told in a really unique way. I would encourage you to read the Themis Files if you haven't. This is not a part of that. This is a standalone, no, it's first in a new series called A History of What Comes Next. And it's fast-moving, darkly satirical look at 1940s rocketry. The premise doesn't necessarily get me, but I trust this author already, and so it's most certainly one that's on my list. Next up is The Echo Wife by Sarah Gailey, set to be released February 16th. Check out this premise. Martine is a genetically cloned replica made from Evelyn Caldwell's award-winning research. She's patient and gentle and obedient. She's everything that Evelyn swore she'd never be, and she's having an affair with Evelyn's husband. Now, the cheating bastard is dead, and the Caldwell wives have a mess to clean up. Good thing Evelyn Caldwell is used to getting her hands dirty. The story unravels from there and unfolds from there, but a really cool look at cloning, science fiction advancements, and the difficulties that come with that. Like, what if your spouse is more attracted to the clone version, the better version of you? The Echo Wife. Next is a book called Fugitive Telemetry by Martha Wells. It's a part of the Murderbot Diaries, and it's set to be released April 27th. This is actually book number 6 in this ongoing series where we're following this protagonist who is a sec unit, a security unit who has its governor removed so that it can kind of be autonomous, and yet it has emotions, feelings, and loves soap operas. I have read the first 3 and do not intend to continue, but I know that a lot of people really adore this series, really adore Murderbot itself. And so if you're reading this series, of course, you're looking forward to this book being released this year. And then from the author of The Martian, we have a new book called Project Hail Mary. Author Andy Weir, and it's set to be released May 4th. I believe it's another standalone sci-fi novel. That's what he tends to do as an author. And it's like The Martian in that we are set in space, but this time, and it is kind of like a sole survivor type situation. But the thing that's unique about this is that our character doesn't remember what has happened, doesn't remember his own name, doesn't remember why he's here and why there's 2 dead bodies around him. It's Martian with a twist. So my thought is that there's going to be some kind of alien species here. I know that some people read The Martian and they were like, there's no aliens. Well, it was more realistic. I think this one is a little bit more sci-fi fantasy in the sense that the help that our character is going to get, I think, is going to be an alien. It might be entirely wrong here, but he's got to not only get home, which is what the Martian character had to do, Mark had to do, but this character has to save humanity and the world. It's called Project Hail Mary. Up next is a book called We Are Satellites by Sarah Pinsker, set to be released May 11th. And this book isn't necessarily promising to do anything new. I think it's kind of just a fresh telling of old sci-fi stories. It's this whole exploration of the advancement in technology and how rapid it is and how good some of it is and how bad some of it can become. So in this story, I think there's this AI called pilots that they're putting into people's brains that help them to operate to their fullest capacity. And so this family, I know that some of them are getting it and others are wary of it. And of course, it's science fiction. So some of these pilots are I think going to go rogue or not be all that we hoped that they would be as a society. It's an apt name for the book, We Are Satellites. And I'm actually really interested in seeing this new, fresh take on kind of a science fiction trope. The Allconsuming World by Cassandra Kah is set to be released on June 22nd. And I love the story here because it's about this group of diminished, broken criminals, former criminals that are having to get back together to figure out what went wrong on their last mission and to rescue one of their fallen, missing, and much changed comrades on this kind of foreign planet altogether. It's an intriguing tale of a group of people getting back together again for one last mission, and I love those kinds of stories. This time it's set in a sci-fi world. And finally, aptly, is a book called Leviathan Falls by James S.A. Corey, set to be released October 28th. This is the 9th and final installment in the Expanse series that began with Leviathan Wakes. I actually haven't yet delved deeply into this series. I've only started the first book, and it's gritty and it's sci-fi. There's also a television series, or I don't know, it's probably not television anymore, Netflix, Amazon, I don't know what it is, but a series that people enjoy as well. It's a sci-fi universe that is so robust. There's a lot of reading to do here. There's not much for me to say because if you're not going to just pick up the 9th book if you haven't read any of these other books in the Expanse, and if you are eagerly waiting for this one, it means that you're caught up and you know more about this series than I do, and it's on your calendar right now, marked down October 28th, that you're excited for the finale of this epic sci-fi tale. Those are currently the books on my list of sci-fi books to be on the lookout for 2021. If I missed any, which I'm sure that I did, please drop them in the comments down below. And as you know, 2021 and the year, they always change. And so some of these books might not be released this year. And there's going to be a whole host of other great books that are going to be released this year that we didn't know here in January of 2021. So stay on the lookout of lists in my channel so that you can find out of some impending and upcoming releases. You can do that by clicking subscribe if you haven't yet and join the Dragon Army. Thank you so much for watching and liking this video, and we'll see you in the next one.